Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Make It a Great Week, where we start off each Monday morning with a strong cup of coffee and a positive conversation. I'm your host, Justin.
And I'm Opa. Let's make it a great week.
We had a really good guest last week. He set the bar high, and he even gave me an idea for a mini game
Really?
this week. Drew, I'm crediting the mini game. No, Drew, I'm crediting the mini game to you this week. So thank you.
There's a mini game?
Yes.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I love
But
that.
not now.
Okay.
We're gonna get to it.
All right.
But I did have an opening question for you this week.
For me?
Yes, I was wondering if you could tell me and the listeners about the hometown that you grew up in, because I feel like I don't think I've heard many stories about that. And I'm familiar with where you grew up, but I don't think I've heard you, specifically talk. What was the childhood home like? What was the town you grew up in like?
Well, from Illinois, about 80, I say 80 miles. I see it's like 100 miles southwest of Chicago, out in the middle of the cornfields. You ever been up in that area?
It was close to where we went for the eclipse, right?
About 7 hours north of that. Yeah,
What
yeah,
about
it was real close. Close enough. But it's as flat as can be, flat as the tabletop here. And you can see into the distance. If you're driving over, on the highways, like I live right about a mile or so south of I-80, which I-80 goes east and west. As you're driving down the road on one of these highways, you see these little houses in the distance, and they're like this big, like an inch. You look at it, wow. And these are people that just live in the middle of a cornfield. Their driveway is like a quarter mile long. That's why they go to check their mail. They got to go, quarter mile long driveway, check their mail. But they're just all by themselves out there in the middle of nowhere. And their nearest neighbor's probably half a mile away. Very peaceful for sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's where I was from in that rural area, but I was near when I was born, I was in LaSalle, Illinois. I remember that because I walked to kindergarten. My brother, two sisters, and myself walked. I can't remember what the name of the elementary school was, but that was my kindergarten year. And I walked to kindergarten. And it was not too far from it. Was just a few blocks. But it was a little city. It was nice. My dad then had a fruit market / grocery store type thing. And he was moving, it was like 15 miles it'd be east. And he bought 5 acres of property out from this farmer. And we developed our little homestead there. It was just my dad, my mom, and at the time, 5 of us. Well, it would have been 5 kids at the time. And that's where we grew up. And it was right in, like I said, in the cornfields, but near a little village. That's the best way I can describe it, called Utica. Utica, Illinois. You've heard of Utica, New York, probably. Utica's, but there's actually a Utica not too far from here, near Seneca. Anyway, I digress. This was a little village sitting right very close to the Illinois River, famous for Starved Rock State Park.
Interesting name.
Yeah, it is. And legend has it that at that state park, one Native American tribe was in battle against another Native American tribe, and they, I guess, surrounded them on this rock and very compassionately starved them to death.
Oh man, that's brutal.
And so that's why it's called Starved Rock. And if you ever want to, I know this is a nice, wholesome broadcast, but if you ever want an interesting series on crime podcast. I mean, crime series.
Yeah.
There's one called Murder at Starved Rock, and it actually happened when I was a kid, 1962. Anyway, there's a whole story that it's a 3 episode series on. It's you can find it. Anyway, it's called The Murder at Starved Rock.
Maybe we can have them as a guest on our podcast. Just tell our vibes.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Make it a great
Anyway,
player.
yeah, edit that out. I don't know. But it was very interesting because it happened right when I was born, 1960. I think it was 1960. Anyway, that's where I grew up in the little city of, or outside the little city of Utica, Illinois. Went to a little school in the country called Waltham.
Hmm.
Waltham. So if um, that little elementary school, I don't. It's not there anymore. They tore the whole building down and everything. We went. We had I went to first grade there because again we moved from LaSalle out to the country, which is like 7 miles out in the country, and then I went to Waltham for my first grade class, and I remember crying when my parents left me at
Oh,
Mrs. Love's class. Who
oh.
was the teacher?
Was she nice?
She was a real nice lady, yeah, but I couldn't stand being in this crowd of 13 students. I was just being left, oh no. And we had 13 kids in our class from first grade all the way through 8th grade. That was it. And it was amazing. But we then some of us went to the Ottawa High School, which was to the east a little bit, and the rest of us went to LaSalle, Peru, LP High School, which is my high school, my alma mater, I guess you could call it.
Hmm.
We were Cavaliers.
Oh, that's a
That
good
was our
name.
mascot. Yeah, and that's where I grew up, and then spent 7 years there. No, I'm kidding.
It was 8.
Yeah. So yeah, and that would have been 1974 to 1978. Then 1978 came down here.
So,
Boom. That's about my life in a nutshell.
so the village you described, was this like a block of buildings, like businesses?
Couple
Or,
blocks,
okay, so is it like just your kind of the one like a bank and a grocery store and
post
yeah,
office, yeah,
okay.
maybe a library. It was a library there, and 17 books. No, a few more than that. And just I think there was 1,000 people in the whole city. That's what I remember. It was
Wow,
big
that's
because
really
of,
small.
yeah, on the Illinois River, right close to the Illinois River. They were famous for Uniman, which was a sand mining company. They blasted all the time. They sitting on this huge amount of sandstone. And it's not sand like you see at the beach.
Hmm.
It's sand, it's sandstone. And when you crumble that sandstone up, it becomes some of the finest sand. And they used it. It's beautiful. Beautiful sand. And that was a thriving industry for years and years and years. In fact, that company ended up buying our house out there and using it it was a brand new house back when 1965, I guess. 1966 is when my dad built it, and it was at that time brand spanking new, ranch style house, beautiful. It was a nice little house. Grew up in a nice, beautiful house.
Hmm.
Um, but they ended up using that for a fire department practice house, and they burned it to the ground for fire
Wow,
purposes. Once
sad.
once Uniman bought it, and they because they wanted it because our property was 5 acres, but then just a few acres between us, there was a huge, huge sand pit, and they blasted that thing constantly. You'd hear the sirens going off, and you knew that after the siren went off, for like 60 seconds after that, there was going to be a blast, and they blasted the sides of the thing, and then they gathered up the sandstone and ground it up, and guess I don't know what they did with it
Hmm.
from there. But we were real close to that, and then they ended up just buying the property totally. But that was when I was down here, so
And
came
you
down
have
here.
some siblings that live near where you
I
grew up?
do. My brother lives probably not a mile from that place.
Does he really?
Yeah,
Wow.
and it's a beautiful little place. He bought it from a guy that had lived there, and he is made it into a nice little patch of heaven there.
Mm.
And it's right outside of Utica. Not too bad. And it's right across the street from that quarry that ended up, and after they mined all that quarry is just totally abandoned now. But it's all grown up and everything with years going by. But he still lives there. Yep. And then I got a brother in Chicago. My dad lives in Ottawa, which is not too far away from there, probably another 10 miles from there, from where we grew up. And then a sister lives in Utica, and another sister lives up. I think it's Dalzell, but I can't. But it's not too far away. Yeah.
So you're the only one who moved south.
Yes, permanently. My brother did. I followed my brother down here. I followed my brother down here in 1978 because I wanted to get away from the area. I wanted to be away from it all and find something newer and nicer and
Mm.
expand my horizons a little bit and find a wife.
You did that very well. I would say you were extremely successful in that regard.
In that regard, I've been blessed beyond measure, that's for sure.
Mm.
Uh, more than I should have been. But yeah, that was 78, and that's when I first met Ruth in 78, and never looked back, for a lot of reasons. But
I was going to ask you because, I mean, Greenville is still, I'm sure when you moved here, it was still, considered a small town. It's heading away from being a small town, but still, I'm sure it was very different feeling than where you grew up. Do you miss that? You're talking about the peace of being on a cornfield and no one around you. Now, do you wish that you could have that in Greenville with your family and just have more room around you, or do you like the kind of the vibe that Greenville has become?
yes, I mean, if I like privacy, I like solitude,
Mm.
but at the same time, I like to go over to the Walmart over here, 2 minutes away, and pick up something I forgot, butter or coffee or
Yeah.
something. But nowadays that can all be changed because of Amazon, delivery. You can get that delivered. But I don't know how to say because I do like solitude and I don't mind being alone.
Hmm.
But at the same time, I do like the amenities that.
You don't want to be
Small.
driving an hour somewhere to get anything, is what you're saying.
Uh, yeah, that's probably true. I mean, I don't mind driving. Obviously, I don't mind driving. I do. I think driving can be a very a way to process things. That's when our son was going to Clemson. He commuted every day, 45 minutes, and I said,
Mm.
man, that could be a blessing. I mean, commuting both ways, 45 minutes to an hour every day. I said the process which you learn throughout the day, and then if you found a good podcast, which we weren't around at that point, but you could listen to a good podcast or
Yeah.
some education. You can get a better education traveling back and forth to school than you could, actually at school.
Yeah.
So I do like driving. So I just like the convenience, I guess. I'm more convenience oriented.
Yeah.
Um, maybe that's lazy. I don't know what it is, but
No, I think it's
you
just preferences, and I think
know,
that if you live out, like you said, kind of in the middle of nowhere, more secluded, then I think I mean, I haven't lived like that, but it sounds like it's a different mindset. Maybe you're going to the grocery store
yeah,
once every couple of weeks and
right.
you're planning out really well what you're
Yeah,
going to get
you,
because
you
you're not
do.
heading back there
You're right.
anytime
Exactly
soon.
right. Right. And yeah, I could do that. But yeah, but the little city was nice, peaceful life, known for also the Burgoo Festival. The Burgoo, Burgoo.
Burger.
Google it. It's like a Brunswick stew, and they had kettles of it sitting out in the main street, and they cooked it all night long. And most of the time, it was burnt at the bottom because they didn't stir it well, and you got this burnt Brunswick stew type thing that you never knew what happened or if what was in it, but it was good. And they made a big festival out of it called the Burgoo Festival. I actually did that we did it for church one year. I wrote them and said, "Can you give me the recipe for Burgoo?" And really, it's not even a recipe. You just whatever you want to put into the pot to put
But
it
make
in.
sure it's slightly burnt.
Yeah, 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 and then burn it. It comes out
That's funny.
all the same. Oh, but that's it. That's where I grew up.
Oh, well, we should. There's still more I want to delve into, but I feel like that's maybe a good stopping point for now. I did want to stop for a minute before our mini game and address the listeners. Did you want to say anything to them while we have them on the line?
The listeners,
Yeah.
thank you for listening.
Okay.
If you do listen, I do thank you very much. And if you want, please send in some stories. We'd love to read them. And you'll get this really cool magnet that you can put on your car, your refrigerator,
Yeah.
your file cabinet. It's a
Mhm.
magnet, so it won't stick in your window. But
Yep.
that's please listen and spread it out in your social media, which I don't even know what I'm talking about because I don't do any of this. But promote it through your social media. Say whatever you do. I mean, you know more of this than I would do.
Well, you read my mind because I was going to, first of all, thank everyone, of course, for listening. Is that thunder out there?
It
It
must
is.
be
Um, Thank you everyone for listening. For people who keep coming back, we really appreciate it. And we're still in the early stages here with this podcast, hopefully. And I was going to challenge everyone this week. If you are a regular listener and you enjoy the show and you agree with what we're trying to do, I would challenge you this week to share it with one person you have not shared it before and try to encourage them to listen to one episode, maybe your favorite episode, maybe one you think that they would personally like. But if you could do that and email us or message us on Instagram and let us know that you did that, one person who messages us will be getting a mug with our show logo on it, designed by the incredible graphic designer Lily. So, if you could take that challenge upon yourself and then let us know you're doing it, you can just shoot us a message on Instagram and we will do some type of draw, some type of randomizer that will give one of you a beautiful mug with a beautiful show design on it. But we
very
really
nice.
appreciate you listening. And as Opa said, please send in your stories to us so that we can share them here. And we would love to just continue to spread the stories of kindness,
Amen.
hopefully in this city, then this state, then this country, and then worldwide.
There we go. That would be awesome. Yeah. Very
Um,
cool.
okay, are you ready for a mini game?
A mini. I am ready.
Okay, so the way this is going to work, which again, I'm going to credit this idea to Drew. This is all his idea.
Thanks, Drew.
Um, we are going to be looking at some classic idioms and seeing if you can tell me what you think the actual original meaning was.
Mm. Okay.
Okay? Are you ready?
Maybe.
Okay.
But
I'm going to start off with, I think, what is an easy one. Barking up the wrong tree. And I can read it in a sentence if you want to try to help you place it. But we're starting with barking up the wrong tree. Also, we have some nice ambient rain sounds
yeah,
now.
love that. It's going to put me to sleep. Barking up the wrong tree. What am I supposed to say about this?
What does it mean? I mean,
Oh,
we know how we use it in a sentence, but what
yeah.
was the origin of this?
Boy, this is too tough. I don't know. I really don't know. Please enlighten me.
Okay, so barking up the wrong tree, apparently in the early 1800s, it was a phrase that literally would mean a dog who you would use for hunting. They would use them to track animals, and it was literally at the wrong tree.
Okay, a raccoon going up a tree
Yeah,
and the dog was barking. The
yeah.
raccoon's in the tree over here. Okay, gotcha.
That was
Yeah,
pretty literal.
yeah. That's right, right, right.
Okay,
I'll
this
take
one I
this
thought
off.
was pretty interesting. Hands down.
Hands
So you
down.
could say like, this is the best coffee, hands down. And again, if any of these are wrong, we are not a factual podcast. Full disclaimer.
Yeah.
These could be.
Um, does it have something to do with people putting their hands on the table in a gesture of confidence?
No, but that makes that I can see that. I apparently this comes from horse racing. People used to use the phrase to describe a jockey who was so far ahead he could relax from holding the reins of his horse, putting his hands down and still winning the competition.
That makes complete
Isn't
sense.
that
Yeah,
interesting? I
yeah,
never would have thought that, but
yeah. Okay, yeah, I can see
it's
that.
those, we just
Mhm.
use those phrases like that, and it's like it is interesting how our brain uses them
Yeah,
with no concept of
yeah.
of the origin of it. And that's it's not like anything else but idioms.
Yeah,
Everything else
yeah,
we understand what we're saying most
yeah,
of the time, but
yeah.
yeah.
Ah, very nice.
Okay, we're gonna do one more. I like
Okay.
this one too. Mad as a hatter.
Mad as a hatter. Number one, I would never use that phrase. And number two, I have no idea. Is that some with okay. Let me just take a stab at this.
Okay, okay.
Alice in Wonderland, the Hatter
Hmm.
in Alice in Wonderland, he was a mad character, and so they're comparing using
Well, they
that.
called him the Mad Hatter, I think, which
Was it?
I wonder if that was written when the origin of this was common knowledge, and that's why he was mad.
Could be. Could be.
Um,
I don't know.
so apparently in the 17, 1800s, hats were typically made out of felt, and the hatters were the people who made them. And the industrial workers who are part of this process would use a poisonous substance called mercury nitrate in the process of making the fur. And because of that, this is actually pretty sad, um, they would develop side effects such as hallucinations and mental illness. So,
Something like mad cow disease, you know?
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, which is pretty sad, but also would not have thought that was literal.
Yeah. Okay. The Mad Hatter. Yeah. All right. Not angry mad, crazy mad. All
Yes,
right.
yes.
Okay. Moving right along. I never would have thought of that, but I will forever more when I use that term mad as a hatter, think of crazy hat man.
Have you heard of that saying before?
I think I have, but
Okay.
I never found it a
Maybe now you
appropriate
can try to
time.
work it into conversation
Yeah.
more.
But when I use it in the situation for a crazy person or a angry person, oh, that guy's as mad as a hatter. Does that mean I'm saying he's angry or he's crazy? Anyway,
Crazy.
okay.
I think it's crazy, but maybe you could try to see if we can get away with using it for
I'm
an angry person.
I'm dropping it right now.
They're old sayings for a reason,
Yeah,
right?
right. Yeah, yeah.
Well, I think that the other week
Hands down,
you,
that's the word.
I like the hands down one though.
I do like
That's a
that.
cool idea. If
Yeah,
you're so far ahead in a horse
yeah,
race that
yeah. Hands
your
down.
hands are just dangling
Yeah,
by your side.
yeah, yeah. I like that.
So, if anyone has any ideas for mini games, please feel free to also send those in to us. We would welcome that.
Yep,
We'll
yep.
be sure to credit you. Um,
I'm looking for these things now that Justin has started this podcast talking about acts of kindness, and here it was during. Everybody knows what March Madness is, don't you? Do you know March Madness, right?
this is for Ben if he's listening.
Yeah,
He's going to be excited
right.
about this part.
It's a basketball tournament in March that leaches over into April too, by the way. So it's the tournament that all colleges strive to get into. There's only 64 teams in the big dance, as they call it. And if you get to the big dance, you're one of the top 64 teams in the country. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
And a lot of these kids are just playing because for the love of the game. They know they're not going to go any further, or is it farther in their career? I don't know. My wife will let me know. I promise you that. If which one I should use. But anyway, they're there for the love of the game. And what happens is they get to the tournament. Boy, that's a milestone for them. Well, at the end, when it's can I use the illustration? Hands down victory for some other team. They're just going to start swapping people in and out, and just to give them a chance to play. Well, there was this one YouTube video, and it showed the one kid sitting on the sideline, and there's only like 50 some seconds left or something, and the play could have been gone, and this kid could have never gotten in the game ever at all. But the referee saw him sitting there and had enough court presence and understood the importance of this moment for that youngster, that hey, I could, he's instead of saying I sat on the sideline, almost got into a March Madness game. The referee said there was a wet spot on the floor, blew his whistle, because when the whistle is blown, that's when the next substitution can go in, and so he blew the whistle. Ostensibly like there was a wet spot on the floor, but it allowed this kid to be able to get into the game and not just sit on the sidelines. probably made his basketball career because he's probably was a, out of the 12-man roster, he's probably number 13. Yeah, just in case we need you. And they put him in. And the coach said, okay, just, go ahead. You can go in if
Yeah.
we get another whistle. And so he's sitting there, in anticipation, hopefully, can I get out? And a referee sees this, had the presence of mind to say, you know what, let's make this kid's day. And he blew the whistle, and the kid goes in there, and the kid actually shook hands with the referee, and the
Yeah.
referee patted him on the shoulder, and it was just a beautiful, beautiful scenario of doing something above and beyond. He didn't need to. He could have let the game go out. Listen, I want to just go home. I want to,
Yeah.
take a shower, get out of this place. I've been here too long. But no, he made that kid's day, and it's a great opportunity to think along that way. Is there ways that I have the authority to be able to help someone make their day go better? And if we all have an opportunity to think that way, we can help people make it a great week.